Morning everyone from a pretty grey and miserable London. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about the first 2 weeks. I thought I would start by just showing you a couple of pictures of the first few minutes of Milo's arrival in the world. So this is us on the operating table with Milo there. I think my overwhelming emotions when he arrived were really just relief and tears of joy. I'm not sure I've ever cried tears of joy before, but I certainly cried a lot in the few moments after he was born. I went home a couple of days after he was born. He was born on the Saturday night, and I went home on the Monday early evening. I did find the first 2 weeks the hardest. It was a huge shock. Emotionally, physically, everything was just, I don't know. I find it quite hard to explain. I don't really know why. I can't articulate exactly the feelings at the time. I think there were so many. I do remember standing in the kitchen at 3 a.m. with a screaming baby. I was crying. I was in a lot of pain. Trying to settle Milo. I didn't really know what to do with him. Not what to do with him, but you haven't learned the tricks by that point, and I was just wondering if I had done the right thing. I just wanted my old life back, almost. Watching him, you can hear him in the background, just, it's all completely worthwhile, but at the time it's just so hard to sort of pick yourself up, and you're so tired that trying to cope is tough. It's really tough. I think perhaps the hardest thing is that it's also unrelenting. This isn't sort of a job that you can shut off at the end of the day and have 5 minutes to yourself. I think I hadn't anticipated how much time, well, all the time, you have those 5 minutes to yourself throughout a day when you haven't got a baby with you, and that just went. I couldn't even go to the loo without him. I think alongside all of that, I felt incredibly vulnerable. I suddenly realised that actually I couldn't cope on my own at that point, and that was really frightening thought. I think throughout your life, whilst, okay, there are situations you don't want and you might not want to be on your own, but you can always cope, you can always survive, and I genuinely think I felt incredibly vulnerable throughout more than the first 2 weeks, maybe the first 6 weeks. And that alongside this sort of feeling of not knowing who you are anymore. I don't think that really crystallised maybe until after the first 2 weeks. I think the first 2 weeks really were just a haze and a sort of survival of the sort of onslaught. And I guess what I really just want to get across is that it's okay to feel scared, it's okay to feel lonely, it's okay to question if you've done the right thing. It's really tough. And I don't really think there's anything that can prepare you for it. And I just think perhaps it's nice to know that you're not alone, you're not the only one that's feeling like that. And that it will get better. It will become easier, you will feel more able to cope, you will cry less. I don't think I've ever cried so much during those first 2 weeks, and I still, as you can probably hear, my voice get quite emotional about it, and I don't really know why. So yeah, it's a massively emotional time. It really is one of the most emotional experiences of my life. But God, is it worth it? Yes, totally.